Hello everyone, warm welcome to Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. I hope now I am audible, visible, everything is fine. So today we will be discussing the finance current affairs for 10th to 12th of August 2025, and as you all know, this is the session which is a must watch session for all your upcoming examination. If you are preparing for RBI Grade B or maybe SEBI Grade A or maybe PFRDA examination, then for all these exams which are going to happen in the near future, this is one of the most relevant and important session. So today we will be covering four important updates. The first one will be related to SEBI. Two updates are going to be from RBI. I have two of the major announcements which have been made by RBI, and lastly I'll talk about the inflation rates of the country which has been announced recently. But before, as you all know, before I start the discussion, first of all, what we'll do, so first of all, we'll quickly revise the questions based on the news which we have covered in the previous sessions. Once we cover those news, once we complete that revision, then we will be moving ahead with the today's news as well. But before I start, if you have any doubt regarding your preparation, you may ask please, or you can even write your doubts in the doubt section, and I will be taking up all your doubts in the doubt section itself or in the comment section itself, so that you can understand that how well you can prepare or what could be the right strategy you need to follow in order to clear your upcoming examination. ठीक है जी, तो आइए ज़रा बिना किसी देरी के आज के इस सेशन की शुरुआत करते हैं और आशा करते हैं, उम्मीद करते हैं कि आज का जो सेशन है बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट रहने वाला और काफ़ी नई चीज़ें आपको आज के इस सेशन में सीखने को मिलेंगी. तो सबसे पहले फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द पास्ट or from the yesterday's session. I have the first question for you all. Let's see how many of you can answer me the question correctly. The first question talks about, one second, I guess the answers are already visible. One second. Okay. Here we go with the first question. Now the first question is on your screen. Read the question and give me the answer. In the previous session, we have discussed about a very important announcement which has been done by RBI, and that is co-lending agreement. I hope you all remember what is co-lending agreement. Co-lending agreement basically means when a bank or a regulated entity ties up with another entity to provide a loan, generally for a retail purpose, we call that agreement as a co-lending agreement. So in case of co-lending agreement, default loss guarantee, which statement is correct? Maximum cap is 10%. No sir, maximum cap is default, maximum cap for default loss guarantee is 5% on the outstanding portfolio. इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि let's suppose I am an originating regulated entity and there is a partner regulated entity and I am providing a loan and I'm signing a co-lending agreement with my partner, that is X. उस केस में if Y is giving a default loss guarantee, then Y can give default loss guarantee up to 5%, not more than that. So the cap is not 10%, so it is 5%. This is wrong. Must comply with RBI's digital lending directions. That is absolutely correct. Nothing wrong in that. Moving on to the next point. Cannot be used for credit enhancement. If we talk about cannot be used for credit enhancement, is this point is clear? That is correct. Originating regulated entity may provide default loss guarantee. That is correct. Act as risk sharing mechanism. Yes sir, it act as risk sharing mechanism. What act as risk sharing mechanism? So default loss guarantee act as risk sharing mechanism. So on that particular basis, 2, 3, 4 and 5 is absolutely correct. So in the previous session itself, we have discussed that cannot be used. Default loss guarantee cannot be used for credit enhancement. Default loss guarantee can be used only and only for the outstanding loan. Clear हो गया? No doubt, nothing to worry. Moving on to the next question. अगला question क्या कहता है? Asset classification norms. Which statement is or are correct? Borrower level classification applies. Borrower level classification applies. उसका मतलब if I am an originating entity X and I have tied a co-lending agreement with Y and X has given a loan to a borrower, that is ABC, and if ABC is not making the repayment in an appropriate manner, then the account will be declared as special mention account 1.0, 2.0, or maybe NPA. Now here the question is related to the asset classification only. So asset classification norms, which statement is or are correct? Borrower level classification applies. Yes sir, borrower level classification will apply. SMA, that is special mention account or non-performing asset, status must be shared within next working day. Yes sir, that is absolutely correct. It should be shared in a real-time manner, or it should be shared in the next working day itself. Only originating regulated entity needs to classify assets. No sir, both will be responsible for classifying the assets. If I talk about special mention account 0.0, it is 0 to 30 days. That means if today last installment is paid, for next 30 days loan will be termed as special mention account 0.0. Then 1.0 is 31 to 60 days, and then special mention account 2.0 is for 61 to 90 days. So on that particular basis, fourth option is correct. So loan will be declared as NPA if no principal or interest is unpaid for more than 90 days. That is correct. So answer is going to be 1, 2, 4 and 5 are the correct options. Only and only the third option is incorrect. So answer is going to be 1, 2, 4, 5. Next, disclosures and applicability. Select correct statement with respect to the same. Co-lending agreement details must be in public domain. Yes sir, obviously it's absolutely correct. The co-lending agreement, if we talk about the co-lending agreement details, that should be in public domain. That is correct. Quarterly and annual disclosure is required. That is correct. Applies to digital lending when co-lending is involved. No sir, it applies to all types of co-lending, whether it is digital or it is physical. Include multiple banking arrangements. It include multiple banking arrangements. सिर्फ banking arrangement होगा? नहीं sir. It includes multiple regulated entity arrangements. It include multiple regulated entity arrangements. It includes consortium lending. No sir. In case of co-lending, consortium lending as well as syndicate lending, both are not applicable, or in case of consortium lending and syndicate lending, co-lending agreement directions will not be applicable. So on that particular basis, my answer would be 1, 2, but it applies to, ध्यान से पढ़ो, it applies to digital lending when co-lending is involved. Yes sir, it applies to digital lending when co-lending is involved. What is applied? Co-lending agreement is applied, but co-lending agreement or arrangement directions which has been discussed, they are not only for digital lending, they are for physical lending as well, they are for general lending as well. So on that particular basis, 1, 2 and 3 are correct, 4th and 5th are incorrect statement. क्लियर हो गया जी? मजा आ गया, समझ आ गया? एक बार यस सर टाइप कर दो सो दैट वी कैन स्टार्ट विद द डिस्कशन. ठीक है, अब अगली न्यूज को स्टार्ट करने से पहले आई हैव अ वेरी सिंपल पॉइंट टू डिस्कस विद यू गाइज. आई होप आप सबको याद होगा, एज पर द लेटेस्ट डेटा इन इंडिया वी हैव विटनेस्ड डिक्रीज्ड नेट एफडीआई. ओवरऑल जो नेट एफडीआई है, इट हैज बीन डिक्रीज्ड इन इंडिया. Along with that, FPI has also decreased in the country, and India is trying its level best to boost the foreign investment in order to manage its forex reserve. And as per the latest data which has been given by RBI, India has lost its forex reserves, and we have approximately $680 billion of forex reserves, and it is decreasing because of the tariff war which is going on with US, along with that geopolitical tensions, along with that geographical fragmentations and whatnot. तो इन सारी चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए SEBI is trying its level best. SEBI is trying its level best to promote the foreign investment in the country, or rather I would say government is trying its level best to promote the foreign investment. So in order to help the government, in order to support the government in the same, SEBI, that is Security and Exchange Board of India, has come up in the picture, and this announcement is done for foreign portfolio investors. Who are foreign portfolio investors? So the entities which are investing in Indian companies and their investment is up to 10%, that investment is basically termed as foreign portfolio investment, and majorly this investment is done through share market. I'm not saying that they will not invest in the primary market, they will, but majority investment by these investors is done in the secondary market. Now, who is the regulator of primary and secondary markets? And in both the cases, the regulator is SEBI. So in that particular scenario, SEBI came up in the picture, and SEBI said that there are certain issues which are being faced by the foreign portfolio investors. So SEBI is trying its level best to overcome these issues in order to increase the foreign investment in the country. So when we talk about foreign portfolio investors, along with foreign portfolio investors, we have foreign venture capital investors. Venture capital investors means the foreign venture capitalists who all invest in India. They will be termed as foreign venture capital investors. So now now SEBI has introduced a term which is termed as Swagat. Swagat in Hindi, and in English it means welcome, but actually the word Swagat basically means single window. S for single, W for window. So single window, automatic, and generalized access for trusted foreign investors. Generalized access for trusted foreign investors. And how it is written? So it is written as Swagat-FI, or it is written as Swagat-FI, which means Swagat means we are welcoming foreign investor, which means single window, automatic and generalized access for trusted foreign investors. For that particular purpose, this initiative came up by SEBI. So SEBI has unveiled a proposal that SEBI will be coming up with a new regulatory access framework, which will be termed as Swagat-FI. And this initiative is basically taken in order to simplify, very important. This term is very important, in order to simplify as well as unify and streamline. Simplify, unify and streamline the process through which the low risk foreign investors, they can enter in India as well as they can operate in the Indian capital market. Ab objective hai, in order to ease out the regulatory process, in order to reduce the operational friction, as well as to enhance India's attractiveness in the economy. पहले की अगर हम बात करें, earlier the registration was different for foreign portfolio investor as well as foreign venture capital investor, but now there will be a single unified registration window for both of them. Along with that, FPI is reviewed, or I would say the KYC is reviewed for FPIs on every 1 or 3 years based on the risk, and in case of venture capital it is reviewed every 1 or 5 years, again based on the risk. But now it has been said that the review of KYC will be done on 10-year basis. Along with that, NRI, overseas Indian citizens participation in the foreign investment is capped at 50%. That means overseas Indian citizens or non-resident Indians, there is a capping. Capping was 50% of foreign portfolios total investment can be done by the person with Indian origin or overseas Indian citizens as well as non-resident Indians. But now the cap has been removed, and it has been removed for all foreign investors. No, it has been removed for eligible. It has been removed for eligible Swagat-FI fund. So if your fund is eligible under Swagat-FI, then in that particular case, there will be no capping on non-resident Indian investment as well as overseas citizen of India investment. Next point is, if I talk about last but not the least, is Demat account. There was a separate Demat account required for each registration, but now there will be option that you can have one single Demat account for all the holdings such as FPI, FVCI and other eligible investments. So this is the latest initiative which has been taken, which I will be discussing with you one by one. Each and every point is really very important. Please pay attention. So Security and Exchange Board of India has unveiled a proposal. It's a proposal for a new regulatory access framework which is called Swagat-FI, single window automatic and generalized access for trusted foreign investors. Why this initiative is designed? So it is taken to simplify, unify and streamline the process through which the foreign investment can be done in the country. This reform is in line with SEBI's broader strategy, to attract long-term, stable foreign capital, reduce compliance burden and bring India's market and entry standards closer to the global best practices. So in order to get the same global standards as that of the global financial market in India as well, this initiative has been taken. So objectives are basically to ease the regulatory process to ease up to ease out the regulatory process. That means for certain categories like foreign portfolio investors as well as foreign venture capital investors that are verified as low risk, in those low risk investors, it will be easy for them to invest. It will reduce operational frictions. It will in the market participation through single window system that integrates registration, KYC and account management. So registration, KYC और account management एक ही window पे हो जाएगा. Last is to enhance India's attractiveness for sovereign and institutional investment so that India could be one of the most attractive place of investment all over the globe in order to increase the foreign inflow of funds. Now, who are going to be the beneficiaries? So the beneficiaries are obviously foreign investors. लेकिन foreign investors को तो benefit होगा, लेकिन foreign investors जो पैसा invest करेंगे उस investment से ज़्यादा benefit होगा. जो पैसा इन्वेस्ट करेंगे उस इन्वेस्टमेंट से ज्यादा बेनिफिट होगा. और वो पैसा कहां इन्वेस्ट होगा? सर, इट विल बी इन्वेस्टेड इन गवर्नमेंट ओन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स, इट विल बी इन्वेस्टेड इन सेंट्रल बैंक्स, इट विल बी the framework will initially cover trusted and well-regulated foreign investor classes. So if I talk about the foreign investor classes, so it will be including government-owned investment funds, central banks, sovereign wealth funds, multilateral financial institutions and highly regulated public retail funds. So these are the foreign entities which will be promoted. So can I say all the foreign investments are eligible under Swagat? No sir, only and only those foreign investors which are government owned or central bank foreign investment, sovereign wealth fund foreign investment, multilateral financial institution or highly regulated public retail funds will be eligible. And who all will get the benefit in terms of investments? Or investment benefit will be received by the issuers. So those who are issuing the capital instruments in the country, they will be enjoying the benefit, whether it is government as they are issuing the government securities, whether it is companies which are issuing their equity shares or debentures or bonds so that they can raise the funds. So these groups, they currently account over 70% of the total FPI assets under custody in India. तो इसका मतलब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि सर बस इतने ही हैं जिनको फायदा मिलेगा अंडर स्वागत, बट ये जो जितने नाम लिखे हैं, they own or they are the owner of 70%. They are the owner of 70% of total FPI asset under custody. So remember this is really very important. Moving on to the fourth point, what are the relaxations announced? First relaxation is, earlier there was a separate process, or currently there is a separate process for FPI and FVCI, that is foreign venture capital investment registration, but now we will have single unified registration window for both. What will be the impact? So it will save time, it will reduce paperwork, and it will simplify the regulatory navigation. KYC revision, FPI 1 or 3 years, FVCI 1 or 5 years, but now the revision will be done or review will be done on 10-year basis, which means longer review cycle, cut compliance workload and cost. There is a capping, there is currently a capping on foreign investment value. 50% can be owned by NRI or OCI, but now capping has been removed for all those funds which are eligible under Swagat. And which all funds are eligible under Swagat? So those funds which are owned by government, that is government owned investment funds, funds owned by central bank, funds such as sovereign wealth funds or multilateral financial institutional funds or highly regulated public retail funds are eligible, और उन eligible funds के लिए there will be no capping. Last, demat account, there will be a different there is currently a different demat account, but in near future there could be a single demat account which will come up with operational ease and it will reduce the fragmentation, which is a point of concern in the current system. Now the point is कि सर इतनी क्या बात है जिस पे आप इतना ज्यादा डिटेल में बात कर रहे हैं, इससे क्या फायदा होगा, क्यों इतना बड़ा आपने इसको डिस्कशन बना दिया जिसकी वजह से यू हैव कम अप विद द न्यूज? द आंसर इज India में, if I talk about the FPI market, the number of registered FPIs in India is around 12,000 and the total asset under the custody is 81 lakh crore rupees. It's very easy to write 81 lakh crore rupees, but it is a pretty huge value, which is 81 lakh crore rupees, and growth up from 51 lakh crores in March 2022. So ये 51 lakh crore था in March 2022 and now it has increased by almost 59% in last 3 years. So ये है intensity. So due to this intensity it is important, and why it matters? Sir, अगर regulatory simplicity होगी तो foreign investment enhance होगा. It will be a cost saving segment for service providers as well as for the service consumers. Increased participation, obviously it will increase the participation of NRIs, overseas citizen of India, because the cap has been removed, and it provides an operational flexibility. It provides an operational flexibility for the investors which are involved. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया पॉइंट? अब क्या था और क्या हो जाएगा उस पर बात करते हैं. अगर हम बिफोर स्वागत FI की बात करें, सॉवरेन वेल्थ फंड investing in both equity market and Indian startups, they needed, first one, 2 separate registrations, multiple KYC renewals every 1 to 3 years, separate demat account for each investment route, that is either they are investing in FPI or in equity market through FPI, or they are investing in startups as foreign venture capital investment. Then they have separate registration, they have separate multiple KYC renewals and they have separate demat account. But अब क्या होगा, एक ही registration होगी, एक foreign entity है, single registration, और single registration के तहत they can invest in equity market, they can invest in startups, they can invest in debt instruments, all will be allowed. KYC renewal will be done once in 10 years. There will be one optional demat account for all the holdings and there will be no cap on NRI or OCI. OCI means overseas citizen of India. जिसको नाम पता हो, overseas citizen of India का मतलब है those individuals whose father or grandfather were Indians. They are termed as basically overseas citizen of India, and person with Indian origin, there was a different term earlier, but now it has been included in the category of OCI only. Not only this, let's suppose there is an Indian citizen, he has shifted to Canada, now he has received the citizenship of Canada, and if after receiving the citizenship of Canada, they have surrendered their Indian citizenship, which has to be surrendered, then those Indian citizens which were earlier Indian citizens but today they are citizens of some other country and they have surrendered their Indian citizenship, they also fall in the category of overseas citizens of India. ठीक है जी, समझ आ गया. अब पोटेंशियल एग्जाम एंगल क्या बनता है? अगर हम एग्जाम एंगल की बात करें, पॉलिसी रैशनल, व्हाई सेबी इज ईजिंग द रूल्स, ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. क्यों? टू बूस्ट स्टेबल इनफ्लोस अलाइन विद ग्लोबल बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस. मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक लिंक क्या कहता है? ग्रेटर ईज ऑफ एक्सेस कुड इंप्रूव फॉरेन कैपिटल डेप्थ इन द इंडियाज इक्विटी एंड डेट मार्केट. सेबी विल स्टिल रिलाई ऑन ट्रस्टेड स्टेटस and periodic monitoring to ensure compliance and comparative advantages. How Swagat-FI could make India more competitive against the other emerging markets in the global or at the global level. ठीक है, क्लियर हो गया, सिंपल है. क्वेश्चन पढ़ो और आंसर दो. क्वेश्चन क्या कहता है? Swagat-FI stands for single window automatic and generalized access for trusted foreign investors. Absolutely correct, no problem with that. Second point. What is the second point? So the second point says the framework is designed for all FPIs and FVCI regardless of risk category. No sir, that is incorrect. It is designed for some specific funds only, either government owned funds, sovereign funds or central bank funds, they are eligible. It aims to reduce regulatory complexity, that is correct. It removes the 50% wala factor, that is correct. It mandates review of KYC every 10 years, not 3 years. So answer is 1, 3 and 5. Sorry, 1, 3 and 4. These are the 3 statements which are correct out of the given options. So answer is going to be 1, 3, 4. That is absolutely correct. Gaurav, Pallu, Niharika, absolutely correct. Moving on to the next news. Agar aapko yaad ho, if you remember, in the previous session, we have discussed about special rupee Vostro account. We have discussed about special rupee Vostro account and what is this entire news all about. So let's get started. I'll quickly complete it. Guys, first of all, there is a bank, let's say Bank of Russia, and there is a bank in India, let's say SBI. So Bank of Russia has opened up an account in SBI in India as well as in INR, and this account has been opened in order to make the international trade settlement easier. International trade settlement easier. How it can be done easily? Because if there is a individual R who is importing goods to an individual in India, and that individual is known as I. So rather than making the payment in foreign currency, Indian individual will credit INR into the Bank of Russia's account, which is in SBI, and Bank of Russia will pay the foreign currency or the currency of Russia, that is ruble, to that exporter. So in this manner, international trade settlement can be done with the help of Indian rupees only. So these kind of accounts which are specifically opened up to ease out or to promote INR international settlement is basically known as special rupee Vostro account, which has been introduced since July 2022. Okay. Earlier there was a condition that if a bank wants to open up any account, that is special Vostro account, they first need to seek permission from RBI, and after RBI approval this account can be opened. But now this requirement has been removed. अब RBI ने कहा कि भैया मुझसे prior approval लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. You can utilize that amount. You can open up special Vostro rupee account directly with the banks without involving me, which will ease out the process of opening up the account, and it will boost INR international settlement, and it will increase the demand for Indian rupees. ठीक. अब यहाँ पर एक point और आया. Sir, what was the problem? Problem क्या आ रही थी? Problem यहाँ पर ये आ रही थी कि सर अगर R has exported the goods to India, then the amount has been credited in this Bank of Russia's account, which is in SBI, और उन्होंने यहाँ से पे किया रूबल, that is the international, that is the Russian currency. So ये जो special Vostro rupee account था, this rupee account has witnessed surplus rupees. Surplus rupees का मतलब क्या? सर अब ये जो Bank of Russia है, we all know that India is huge importer in comparison to the export value. Our imports are higher than our export. So if our imports are high in comparison to export, I'm taking up in a very conservative manner. If I say we are importing goods of $100 and we are exporting of $50, so in that particular manner, let's say we are paying 8,000 rupees for imports and we are receiving 4,000 rupees for exports. So in that particular case, these Vostro accounts, they will have surplus funds. क्यों surplus fund होंगे? सर ये जो आपने 8,000 रुपए देने थे वो आपने इस अकाउंट में क्रेडिट कर दिए, और जो आपका रशिया का इंडिविजुअल है R1 who is importing from Indian I1, he has to pay. So what he will do, he will also deposit ruble in Bank of Russia's account, and Bank of Russia account in India in SBI will make the withdraw of will make the transfer of 4,000. तो अगर आप net value देखें तो there is a net surplus value of 4,000 rupees in the Bank of Russia's account, which is in SBI. So now RBI has allowed the foreign entities, RBI has allowed the foreign entities that the foreign entities can utilize these surplus funds, and they can invest these surplus funds into government securities or treasury bills, or I would say government securities as well as treasury bills. So rather than keeping those deposits in the bank account that is in SBI, and generally it is a current account with low rate of interest. So in that particular case, rather than keeping your funds idle in the bank account, now the foreign entities, they are allowed that you can withdraw these funds or you can invest these funds. You can withdraw and invest, or you can directly invest these funds or invest your surplus funds into the government securities and treasury bills issued by Indian government in India. तो जो पैसा है INR इंडियन रुपीस वो आज भी इंडिया में ही है, कहीं बाहर तो गया नहीं, लेकिन उस पैसे को अकाउंट में रखकर वेस्ट करने से, बिना कोई रिटर्न अर्न करने से बेटर है कि द फॉरेन एंटिटीज दे कैन यूज दैट सरप्लस अमाउंट इन ऑर्डर टू इन्वेस्ट देम इन गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी एंड ट्रेजरी बिल्स सो दैट दे कैन अर्न रिटर्न ऑन देयर इन्वेस्टमेंट. So this is the latest announcement which has been given by RBI. जल्दी से पढ़ लेते हैं, ज्यादा इसमें रॉकेट साइंस है नहीं. Reserve Bank of India has introduced significant policy change aimed at promoting international use of Indian rupees and enhancing productive deployment of idle मतलब फ्री में बैठा हुआ, वेला बैठा हुआ, बिना काम के पड़ा हुआ ट्रेड सेटलमेंट फंड, वो फंड जो ट्रेड सेटलमेंट से मिला है. अब एलिजिबल इन्वेस्टर्स कौन है सर? जो आपके NRIs हैं या अदर फॉरेन एंटिटीज हैं विच आर मेंटेनिंग स्पेशल रुपी वॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट विद इंडियन बैंक्स. They are now permitted to invest surplus rupee balances in central government securities, including the short-term government securities of, that is, treasury bills which has maturity up to 364 days. But remember that it is only for central government securities, not for the state government securities. Effective date is, it is effective on the very same day on which this direction was announced. So what are the legal basis? Legal basis is as per section 10 of Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, it gives the power to RBI to issue binding instructions to authorized persons such as banks in foreign exchange market. Section 11 authorizes RBI to direct any person or entity to comply with FEMA. The measure is without prejudice. The measure is without prejudice to any other approval or permissions required under applicable law. तो याद रखिएगा सेक्शन 10 और 11 के तहत RBI has the power, and under the RBI powers RBI can come up with these certain restrictions. What is the purpose and policy objective? Sir, if I talk about the purpose, first is utilization of surplus rupee balances. That means the surplus rupee balance in the Vostro account can be utilized. It will boost rupee internationalization. Why it will boost? Sir, let's say I am a foreign entity and I am planning to open special rupee Vostro account, and someone gave me an answer कि इंडिया में रुपी अकाउंट ओपन करके क्या करोगे? इंडिया इज अ नेट इंपोर्टर, सो योर funds will lie idle in the bank accounts in India in Indian rupees because you cannot utilize them, you cannot use them in India, or because of low demand for Indian goods from your nation, those funds cannot be utilized. So this foreign entity will feel that hesitation that whether I should invest or whether I should open up this account or not. If they are not opening up the account, then the internationalization of the rupee will not be possible. But the moment RBI said that the idle funds or the idle rupees in the special rupee Vostro account can be invested in government securities where you can earn the return, this will give a boost, this will give a support कि ठीक है यार ओपन कर लेते हैं अकाउंट, ट्रेड की ट्रेड हो जाएगी, और जब पैसा excess होगा we will invest in government securities to earn return. Obviously it will increase the investment in the government security market, it will deepen the government security market. Now what are the changes? So updated master direction, that is RBI revised non-resident investment in Debt Instrument Direction 2025, which was first issued in January 2025. Now it has been updated with the given announcement. Second is instruction to authorized dealer category 1 banks have been directed to inform their clients and implement the updated provision. तो बैंक्स को ये कहा गया कि भैया अपने क्लाइंट्स को बता दो और उनको कहो कि ये जो पैसा आपका मेरे बैंक के मेरे अकाउंट में पड़ा, आप उसे यूज करो, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी खरीदो, क्योंकि हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने अलाउ कर दिया है. अब जिसको ना पता हो पढ़ लेना, व्हाट इज स्पेशल रुपी वॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट, व्हाट आर गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज एंड व्हाट इज ऑथोराइज्ड डीलर कैटेगरी 1 बैंक. Moving on to the next question of the evening. Next question says, consider the following statement regarding RBI's August 2025 on special rupee Vostro account. The policy permit NRIs and foreign entities with special rupee Vostro account to invest surplus rupee balances in government securities and treasury bills. Correct. The directions were under FEMA Act. That is correct. This policy also permit investment in corporate bonds. No, sir. It is not for corporate bonds. It is purely for central government securities. SRVA, that is special rupee Vostro account, were introduced in July 2022. That is correct. Authorized dealer category 1. Banks have been instructed to inform customers about the new rules. That is correct. So according to this, first option, second option, fourth option and fifth option is correct. So answer is going to be what? Sir, answer is going to be A option. So what will be the correct answer? So the correct answer would be A option. I hope it is absolutely clear. I hope it is correct. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया. चलो. Moving on to the next news. I'll not take much time of yours in next two news because they are pretty simple and they are pretty straightforward. So in August 2025, RBI has announced 75 lakh rupees penalty on the second largest private bank of the country, that is ICICI Bank. Remember that monetary penalty of 75 lakh rupees has been charged, and this penalty has been charged related to the non-compliance with RBI regulatory guidelines such as valuation of properties and opening of current account. So valuation of property means for loans secured by property, bank must obtain valuation from independent valuers who are duly empaneled as per RBI norms. मतलब क्या हुआ? आप बैंक के पास गए, आपने बैंक को कहा कि सर मुझे लोन चाहिए. बैंक ने कहा बदले में क्या दोगे? आपने कहा घर. तो जब आपने कहा घर गिरवी रखूंगा, तो बैंक अपने मन से उस घर की वैल्यू डिसाइड नहीं करता. बैंक विल गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ दैट असेट फ्रॉम द प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यूअर्स और द इंडिपेंडेंट वैल्यूअर्स हु आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू वैल्यूएट द प्रॉपर्टी, एंड दीज आर द एम्पैनल्ड. एम्पैनल्ड का मतलब रजिस्टर्ड. दीज आर द एम्पैनल्ड. Empaneled का मतलब registered valuers who are valuing the property on the behalf of bank, and they are empaneled, they are registered with RBI. So ICICI lapse was for certain mortgage loans. Valuation were conducted without using independent RBI approved valuers. So without using the RBI approved valuers, the valuation was done. That was the issue. So could lead to inflated or incorrect property valuation, which may impact the which may cause credit risk on the bank, because of which this action has been taken. Second reason for the penalty value is to prevent fund diversion and ensure credit discipline. RBI restrict opening or maintaining current account for borrowers with credit facility from multiple banks unless specific conditions are met. But ICICI ने ऐसा नहीं किया. ICICI has opened and maintained current account in violation of these restrictions. These restrictions means RBI restrict opening and maintaining current account for borrowers with credit facility from multiple banks. लेकिन ICICI ने इसे implement किया, तो ये ICICI की second गलती थी. तो इन दोनों गलतियों की वजह से ICICI के ऊपर RBI ने 75 लाख रुपए की पेनल्टी चार्ज की. तो आपके लिए वैल्यूएशन ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी वाला पॉइंट, सिर्फ इतना पॉइंट बेसिक याद रखना इंपॉर्टेंट है कि why penalty was charged, and second, the reason for charging the penalty was opening of current account, need for discipline was the reason because of which the penalty was charged. So this violation is as per the financial position of ICICI Bank as of 31st March 2024, जिसके बेसिस पर ये पेनल्टी चार्ज की गई है. तो एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से 75 लाख इंपॉर्टेंट है. उसके अलावा message from RBI क्या है? Even you are large, even you are systematically important bank, but still you are responsible. You are asked to manage, to maintain, to fulfill the RBI norms, else you will be charged with penalties of non-compliance regardless of your size, your market share or whatsoever. तो आप कितने भी बड़े हो, अपने घर पे हो, अगर आपने RBI की norms को follow नहीं किया, penalty charge होगी. Valuation norms are critical to risk management and current account restrictions. They predict credit discipline, because of which this initiative has been taken. So the question is, the penalty was imposed in August 2025. That is absolutely correct. There's nothing wrong in this. Next point says, the violation were found during ISC 2024 inspection. So here it is written, inspection for supervisory evaluation 2024 as of 31st March 2024. That is correct. ICICI Bank penalty was for violation in digital lending. No. Penalty amount impact customer deposit. No. That will be paid from bank's capital. The violation related to property valuation and current account opening norms. Yes, that is correct. So 1, 2, 5. These are the three options which are correct. Moving on to the last news of the day. The last news is very important. In June 2025, retail inflation, that is CPI combined, was all-time low, which was 2.10%. We were expecting that it will improve because of repo rate cut, because of CRR cut, which has been announced by RBI. But unfortunately, rather than improving the inflation situation, the inflation situation has worsened, and today country's inflation has dropped down to 1.55%, which is lowest in last 8 years. Earlier, last month, it was 2.10%. Now it has been dropped to 1.55%, which is presented by NSO on monthly basis, which is under Ministry of Stats and Program Implementation. CPI urban, CPI rural data is first collected. Then on the basis of the collected data from the Labour Ministry, the Ministry of Stats and Program Implementation Department, that is National Statistics Office, is responsible for calculating the CPI rates. So CPI rate is all-time low because of quite obvious reason, that is low inflation rates, as well as due to this low food inflation rates, the overall CPI inflation rates has fallen down. In India, we expect that inflation rate should be in a range 4% plus minus 2%, which means 2 to 6%. So technically speaking, in India, we have recorded uncontrolled inflation rate for the first time in last 8 years. That is 1.55%, which is below 2% value. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गई बात. तो टारगेट अगर हम बात करें वो तो 4% है, लेकिन अगर लोएस्ट टारगेट की बात करें दैट इज 2, हाईएस्ट इज 6. 4 है तो बेस्ट, लेकिन अगर 2 और 6 के बीच है देन ऑल्सो इट इज एक्सेप्टेबल, बट बिलो 2 इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. Urban headline inflation 2.05, rural headline inflation 1.18%, and overall CPI combined inflation is 1.55%. Easy, nothing wrong, nothing else you need to remember. This is only for your reference. Just read it, don't remember it. Now, what are the factors? What are the reasons behind decrease in inflation rates? Then the first reason is sharp fall in food prices, muted fuel price growth. Muted fuel price growth means due to stable global crude prices, the crude oil prices are not increasing, fuel prices are same. Base effect, previous year higher inflation numbers created a statistical drop. तो पिछले साल जो आपके inflation rates थे, they were already very high. अब आप you are comparing it with last year data, so that is the reason. जब आपका comparing जो data है, जो comparison है, if that is very high, then your data will obviously look pretty low. That is also one of the reason. And last is efficient supply chain management, which means improved transportation and reduced bottlenecks has improved or it has resulted in decrease in inflation, because due to efficient supply chain management, the cost of transportation has decreased, because of which the prices has fallen down. Last question of the day. Consider the following statement regarding India's retail inflation scenario. India's CPI combined retail inflation in July 2025 stood at 1.55%, lowest in last 90 plus months, 90 something months was written. It was how many months? 95 months. 8 years low, 2017. That is correct. The National Statistical Office releases CPI data for rural urban combined categories every month. That is correct. CPI inflation below RBI medium term 4% for 6 consecutive months implies that RBI must compulsorily cut repo rate under the mandatory monetary policy. This is not a case. हाँ ये केस है कि अगर 3 क्वार्टर लगातार यानी अगर 9 months consecutively, if 9 months consecutively for 9 months, if the inflation rates are uncontrolled, then it will be termed as a failure of monetary policy. In July 2025, rural headline inflation was lower than urban headline inflation. That is correct. The fall in inflation was basically due to food inflation drop. That is also correct. So 1, 2, 4, 5 are correct. So answer is going to be first option. Got it, guys? Clear? I hope each and every point which we have discussed is crystal clear. Now I have few questions for you which you will be attempting as a homework. If you are ready and you want me to share the answers, just give me yes, sir. If you want me to share the questions, just give me yes, sir. And don't forget to share your answers in the comment section, and I will be sharing the correct answer in the comment section as well, and I will be giving you the correct answers in the next class as well. If you are ready, give me yes, sir. Okay, so before I move ahead, guys, I have a very important information to share with you. If you're still planning and if you're still in a dilemma that whether you should prepare for RBI examination or not, or whether you should prepare for PFRDA exam, or you should prepare for NABARD examination, or you should prepare for SEBI exam or SIDBI, and you have to purchase courses for individual exams, now that particular problem has been resolved by a Testbook. What we have come up with, we have come up with a super pack, which we call it as Mahapack for regulatory body exam, where we will be covering all the regulatory body exam related courses such as PFRDA, SEBI, IFSCA, IRDAI, RBI, NABARD, they all will be included, SIDBI, all will be included under a single pack. So what you have to do is just use code MADHAV and you will get the super pack subscription for next 8 months at just 7,028 rupees. Go for it. Don't waste even a single day. You can find the link of our courses in the description below. Here we go with the first question. Take the screenshot. Proposed relaxation under Swagat-FI. Identify the correct statement. Take the screenshot. You have 10 seconds. Done. Moving on to the next question. Here is the next question. Take the screenshot. For your reference, I have given the name of the news or the category of the news from where the question has been framed so that you can relate it well. Moving on to the third question. Take the screenshot for the third question. Last. Take the screenshot for the fourth question. If you can, just after this session, go through with all the 4 questions and give me the answers in the comment section below. Thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you in the upcoming sessions to go. If you want to download the PDF, do download the PDF from our Telegram channel. The handle is @Madhav, or you can scan the QR code which is available on the screen. Thank you so much. Good luck. God bless you all.